In this episode, we're talking about a game where you sacrifice waves of cute animals to kill a tree. It's Forest Heroes. This and more on Indie Game Arcade. Welcome to Indie Game Arcade, a podcast that deep dives into the latest and greatest indie games. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
Joseph, how you doing in the heat? Is it as hot down there as it's been up here? Just hot and muggy?
I'm used to the heat. It's a
True.
little muggy, but it hasn't been too bad. And since I play video games pretty much as my entire pastime, I don't go outside that much. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it feels today.
We did something really stupid where we spent like the entire weekend outside because my wife and her friends, God bless them, they had planned a little getaway trip for us like months and months in advance. Then it's like, we're hearing on the news and everything like, oh, the corn is sweaty now. And it has made everything in the Midwest so hot. And then lo and behold, we go to the place we're staying at and it's surrounded by the culprit. We're just
By sweaty corn?
Yeah, we're just in a little Verbo surrounded on all sides by the sweatiest of corn, just everywhere.
What does corn sweat smell? Does corn sweat smell?
Yeah, it stinks.
Is it like,
It
what does
straight
it
up
smell
stink.
like? Is it like human sweat?
No, it smells like just straight shit.
Oh,
It smelled terrible.
wow.
Yeah, it smells like dirt, like dirty poop smell is what it smells
I think like the only time you could use a sentence, or you could use like, I'd rather be in a sweaty locker room and it be true.
Yeah.
Because that would probably have smelled a little bit better.
It would have been much better. And then we get home, at least the Verbo had air conditioning. We come home, we don't have air conditioning in our house because Minnesotans, I don't know what everyone was thinking. They're like, let's build every house with no AC. That'll be smart. So now it's like, 90s, 100s. No one has AC. So we come home to our nasty house and it's all sweaty. So believe I'm sitting here practically wearing nothing, Joseph, except my brand new Indie Game Arcade logo hat, which you can get by visiting our website and going to merch. It looks stylish.
Yeah, why don't you put that up on Instagram? Just you completely in the buff, except with the hat on.
Yeah, I'll put the hat right where it needs to be so that it doesn't get taken down.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you want that photo or if you want a whole calendar.
I'm gonna go to the comments immediately and just like nix that real quick.
Say no,
please no.
Don't do it. Yeah. Something we will do, though, is talking about some video games. Our main topic for today is Forest Heroes, as we said. Game start! So Forest Heroes was released in early access, actually, December 6th of 2024. But the full release just took place on July 17th, the date that every game in the entire world was released this past summer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Developed and published by Hooju Game Studios, which I just imagine an owl. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the Who. I just imagine a little owl making games.
It sounds like owl gum.
Hooju.
Like if owls had a gum.
Hooju.
It's their hoochu. Yeah. Or like Big League Chew if owls also smoked, or if they also chewed nicotine and just needed a gum replacement.
It's like what it feels like to chew Hooju gum. Ooh. It's just like a freaking tree shattering instead of like a little thing of ice. Their logo is I think it's like a Doberman though, or something playing.
Yeah. You're
games.
right. Yeah. I've seen that logo many times as I logged into this game.
Exactly.
Because I played a lot of it.
Yeah. Retails for $9.99. And for a quick description, Forest Heroes is a hybrid between tower defense and roguelike deck building where you are commanding animal allies and mushroom-based magic to defend against waves of different forest-themed threats, with the ultimate big baddie being like a evil big old tree. hence my very clever, witty intro. Thank you.
Describing the exact happenings of this game.
Don't laugh at me. I played quite a bit of this too. Probably not nearly as much as you, but I did beat it twice to your probably like dozen times. But still, I was proud of my accomplishments.
Like I was looking at how much it says I played it, and it was only about 10 hours, which is a long time, but in game time, it's really not that much. It just feels like I played it a lot because I was super into this game for like the entire week.
Yeah. It's super cute too. Like I know we had brought this up a few times on, some of the past episodes and stuff and talked about, the look and feel of it and everything. And like, I love the art style of this. And I was kind of comparing it. You were comparing it to Wild Frost. I was comparing it to Tea Turtle, the clothing company. And I think both are very correct in that way.
It's probably like if those two had a baby, those two art styles.
I played it for 2.5 hours, which is 10 hours in dad gamer time. So it's about the same. It's about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
How about you walk us through some of the mechanics of this?
Okay, so mechanically, this is a roguelike deck builder, but the auto battler aspect of it, which is not something that I like ever thought I'd be like kind of into. Just auto battling just sounds too automated to me.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, there's nothing to it. But what I appreciate about that aspect of it actually is how it plays into this game where you are setting up your lane essentially with all of your critter cards that you're choosing between like one of three of these like forest wizards, sort of.
They're elves.
And they're elves, but they're like, I guess two of them are wizards. One of them is like an archer thing, or one of them, is it the bird? Is the bird
guy? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because he got transformed into a bird, right? That elf did. That's like the lore behind it, and he's riding on like a hunter's shoulder.
He's on his head. Yeah. So the guy, the main dude, is not the actual like elf. He's just a human with a gun, and you are a wizard bird riding on his head, and who
got turned into a bird.
Yes.
Yeah. So but the bird's in charge. Just know that.
He is the best character, though.
He's fine. I didn't like playing him as much as I did. Actually, the first wizard was my favorite. I just really enjoyed the spells he had at his disposal, and that's who I was really like winning the most with.
Really?
Anyway,
okay.
So the mechanics of it, you choose your elf. They each come with a default hat, and the hats come into play later because those are interchangeable, where you get a different hat that affects the lane that is in front of you or around you, and also has some kind of like mechanical skill to it, some sort of perk that is added to it. So none is like necessarily better than the other. It really just depends on what kind of, deck or build you're going for that run, because they all have their benefits. And what you're doing is you are trying to defend the mushroom tower that you have set up and go like send your critters down this lane to fight off these enemies, take out the boss of each of these sections. And then at the end of like the third section of it, they're like, does it go? It's three. No, it's a whole day. That's what it is, because it's like morning, afternoon, and night or something like that. I don't remember the exact phrasing of it, but there's 3 segments, 3 battles for the first 2 segments, and 2 at the end. The very last segment is the tree boss that you were speaking of, and it gets progressively harder as you go, but you are also getting progressively stronger as you're getting more cards added to your deck. Getting some passive abilities from your hat and or other sort of items that you're picking up along the way. Some items are more general for everyone, and some are specific to each of the individual critters. They have like at least 2 each, which I thought was a really cool mechanic that I found very appealing, especially when I was doing something like, okay, I have a lot of these like phoenixes that when they die, they come back. And after a certain amount of time, instead of you having to resummon them, they will just automatically come back after a few seconds. Mm-hmm. But one of their items is like every time they respawn, they have 10 extra health. And so like that means if I had a lot of those phoenixes, those items apply to every single one of the same critter. So if I had like at one point I had 3 phoenixes going, so anytime they would die, they would just reshuffle back in stronger and stronger and stronger, and it just became like a force to be reckoned with. That health bonus resets after each match, but as long as the match is still going on, because some of them run for a little bit longer than others, just because of various things. That means some of those longer battles, those phoenixes are just like a wrecking crew of tanks just going through and just burning everything down. And it was just really satisfying. And that's what I found really satisfying about this game in general, was how good it felt to sort of see this like little machine, the little perfect engine you build in action, just sort of like wrecking through. And it's not always going to work out. I've won more than I've lost, but there were some where it's just like, I know this isn't going to go well because I'm just not picking up the right stuff. RNG isn't being good to me, or I just had a bad plan and it didn't pan out because I was expecting something to come to me, something item wise or creature wise, and it just didn't happen for me. So as with any roguelike, you're going to run into those, especially with deck builders, because they are so card specific. But when you can really get it going, like, you're going to have a great time with this.
Do you have a favorite animal hero? Because I have a very specific one, which is that poodle. Dang, that is like the most... I think he's like the most powerful card in the freaking game.
What does the poodle do again? I can't remember.
So the poodle starts with 0 attack, but like if he stays in your hand, every time you use another card, then he stacks attack and he gets more health. And so like you keep doing that and stuff, and then he transforms into like a giant poodle. And like you can just keep going and going and going and keep stacking stuff. So at one point I unleashed like a poodle that had like 150 health, and he was doing like 76 damage or something per hit. So like he went out there and he would start wrecking bosses. So like the last game that I won, I was like, all right, I got him in my hand. I'm just gonna save him till like Tree is awake, and I did that, and he was just like, by the time we got to the tree moving around and stuff, he just pretty much walked up there and just destroyed the tree in a few hits, and it was over.
I don't remember like what my if I were to choose like a favorite feature, there was one that I had, one of the runs that just went like super well, and it was all balanced around like one specific creature, but I cannot remember what it was off the top of my head. I've done so many of those runs, it all starts to blend together. Some of my favorite builds though are like the Thorn build. Like,
those are good.
There are so many cool items that you can like boost your Thorn damage with, or some spells that do like make the thorns do like ×2 or like 2 times the amount of damage they would do. And or there's a card that lets you like literally do all the damage that the combined amount of thorns you have in an area would do, like right away, multiplied by with some multiplier added to it. And so I was just like basing my whole build that run. Actually, that was the first run that I won. So that was early on when I was playing, but it was like a clean sweep all the way through. Sure. Like even the final tree stood no chance against like this Thorn build that just like went through. That's where like I got the achievement for winning under 20 minutes, because it's just like I just streamed through that entire thing so quick after I got that Thorn build set up. And so it's not something I did again after that, because I wanted to, change it up and do a variety of different things. But that was one of my favorites, at least early on. As with any other roguelike, you can add those like difficulty modifiers after you start winning. And that's how you sort of like continue progressing after you level up your elves all the way to, I think level 5 is like their max level. And after that, you have to start doing those extra challenges to unlock new items for them, or just new items in general for the artifacts that you pick up along the way. So that's where that starts. So I think I got to level 4 or 5 of the difficulty thing, and I beat all the way up to that point, and then I was like, how many are there? Because I was thinking maybe there were like 10 max, but then I saw that there's an achievement for like winning like 15 times, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to do all that. I don't want to, like, as fun as it is, there's only so much of the same thing that I can do as it gets increasingly more difficult before it's like the fun part is subtracted for me. And then it just becomes like it's just like, do I have the willpower to continue playing this over and over and over and over until I can just like luck out because of all these stacked up difficulties against me?
Yeah.
And so at 5, I was still having fun. I didn't hit the point at all where I'm like, oh, this is too hard for me to be having fun anymore. It's just like, I don't know what it's going to look like, you know, at level 15 of those negative modifiers added. And it's like, will I be satisfied beating it? Or can I just like leave this game as is and come back to it later and, you know, maybe give those a shot? And I think that's what I would do, honestly, just to, one, not burn myself out on this game, because I do have very positive, like, feelings towards it, and 2, just because there are so many other games that I need to play that I cannot spend another 10 plus hours on this just trying to like continue beating it over and over again.
I want to quickly bring up, just because I was thinking about it, another build that I did, which was, it was just basically built around getting more I don't remember what the term is in this game, if it's mana or whatever, but you know, the currency you're using to do the summons for the animals and stuff. So like what I was doing was taking artifacts and upgrades and stuff like that centered around giving me more of that stuff. So like I had the one where like when you kill one of the mini bosses, because like when you go into a battle, you'll have like a main boss to fight, and there's usually like 2 mini bosses in the way. So like you take one of those out, you immediately get like 10, right? But then I had another one that was like, it was like every 5 of your guys die or something like that. Then you get so many more of those like mana crystals or whatever. But then I also had something about like every 3 kills, you get extra ones. So like at some point, because I had stacked so many things, I was pretty much just doing constant summons without stopping. So like I was just overwhelming the guys with numbers rather than like, you know, it really didn't matter how much damage like my little guys were doing. There's just so many of them at all times. Like they were just steamrolling, and that was really satisfying. And I was doing that one on the Pale Elf one. So it's like, you know, she has like all of the skeleton summons and stuff when like, you know, folks die and the gravestones pop up. And if those don't get destroyed, the skeletons will pop out. So it's like even more like creatures aside from me having to physically summon were going. So that was nuts. I had so many characters on the screen at one time. It was so fun.
Yeah, speaking of the Necromancer one, that was one of the builds I really had a good time with too, which was like a pure skeleton build. And that was centered completely around summoning as many graves as I could. And as you level her up, like she gets some that it's like summon, I think it was like 20, or no, it was like after a certain amount of time, something like you summon like 20 graves. And it's like, so that stacking with like different multipliers to get more graves out. Then I had a card that was like every grave has a chance to spawn 2 skeletons. And then it's like, and you don't have a limit to the amount of skeletons you can have out. So it's like to your point, having so many things on the screen at the same time, the skeletons specifically, and you can, through use of different items, make them stronger, not in the same way you can these other units because they're temporary units. And then you can also, oh man, but there are just so many of these little things that, like I can go on and on about, but basically like there are just some builds where it doesn't feel like you're breaking it at all, because there's still a good chance that you could get completely overtaken by something. Like there are some where I was feeling real good about it and then run into something where it's like, oh, this whole lane is like poison enemies or enemies that are poisoning me, and that is completely crippling my idea. So that's not going to work. Or, you know, a counter thing of thorns against my, like these melee things I had going on. It's like, oh, well, that sucks for them. Yeah. So I can't like progress there. But when you do get a good thing going, like it is like super satisfying. There's one in there, a run that I did with like multiple ballista turtles, because what they do is they shoot from a decent range. They're very slow, but they're shooting from a range, and every, I think 2 shots or maybe 1 shot they do, their next shot, or like they get a little bit more powerful each time.
Yes.
So the longer they stay out, their attack gets slowly and slowly like stronger and stronger. So I had something up there like tanking for them, just some like throwaway units like my raccoons or something up there, just like tanking the damage, while the turtles just were in the back powering up, and they just got so strong that they almost like one shot the final boss together. I think I had like awesome. 4 of those turtles, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. And then the boss's health just gets chipped away, and it's just really cool to see that. But it's, this all is to say, like, all these units have these really specific things about them that are just really fun to toy around with and experiment with. And there are different items they can get to equip to them specifically. Even they can get hats, and the hats do show up on them, which is also very cute to see these like weird animals in their little hats.
Oh yeah.
So there's so much that I like about this game. And I feel like it is one of those that is not going to take up a ton of your time, unless, like I was talking about earlier, you decide you really want to go all in and beat all 15 levels of difficulty. But if you're just going for like a straight playthrough and you want to just go through a few times, level up all the characters, whatever, you're going to have just a solidly good time. It's a short experience. Like I said, I beat it in under 20 minutes at one point, but I would say you're looking at about 30 minutes. Maybe not max, but around the 30-minute mark is probably the average of how long these are going to take. And so that's quick for a roguelike anyway. And it's just cute to look at and really fun to play. So I have nothing but like positive things to say about this. If I had anything that I wanted to like, not even say as a complaint, but I just wish there were more to it. Like that there were either more characters to play or just more things to unlock. It just feels kind of compact to me, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just like the system of it so much that I wish it was a little bigger.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I kind of wish there was more levels with like more final bosses. I just want more things to do, and that's it. So yeah, I just want more game to play.
Exactly. It's just such a good game that you want more of it. And it sounds like selfish even saying that, but just like if they had an expansion for this that came out at some point, it's a complete compliment. Nothing wrong with the game except that it's just like I just need more of it. That's all.
Power up! Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, do us a favor and throw us a like, a follow, a share, or share the episode or the podcast with folks who love indie games so we can get more of these game recommendations out there and support indie game devs. We also have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/nerdsloth where you can catch us playing more indie games or check out our top 5 and top 10 series for even more indie game recommendations, because we believe there's an indie game out there for everyone. Combo! Let's talk about some other indie games we've been playing this week. There's one that I wanted to bring up called Grimshire. This released on the 22nd, so it wasn't the 17th for once. That's weird, right? Released into early access from Acute Owl Studio. What is with the owl stuff today? Is there like something going on with owls? Hoochoo! This is that cozy looking farming sim I was telling you about before that has a little bit of grimness surrounding it, where you're playing a character. You get to kind of choose, like when you create the character, what they are, whether they're like I went with a bunny. I basically made Bunnicula. Do you remember Bunnicula from when you were a kid?
I do remember Bunnicula. Yeah, yeah.
I totally made Bunnicula. He's like a white rabbit with red eyes. So yeah, it was fun. Anyway, I made Bunnicula. So you're basically found unconscious and you're brought to this isolated island village full of fellow anthropomorphic NPCs. And you also kind of hear the news at the same time that the capital city that they trade with is burning. And nobody knows what's going on. But everybody on this island is super nice. They take care of you. They give you a home. Everyone, Joseph, everyone on this goddamn island gives you presents. Every time you meet someone, they're like, oh, here, have a new rake for your garden. Here, have a painting. Here, have all new wallpaper for your house. You can't find that in the United States. Nobody does that here. No one's going to get, like, I'd be lucky. I would be lucky for someone to even give me a pie these days. Anyway,
I wouldn't trust a random pie from a stranger.
I would love a pie from a stranger if someone wants to give me a pie. Anyway, you have to work and contribute to the community by adding to their food stores before winter, which at the moment is very, very poor. There's hardly anything there. So your task really in this game is farming, mining, fishing, the whole thing, like, very Stardew Valley-ish kind of stuff. As well as making relationships, which could include romantic ones. But there's this backdrop of kind of like, there's like sinister stuff going on in the background of this world. And you're just kind of getting bits and pieces of it here. And it's starting to affect like what's going on this island. So like that trader who comes by boat, he's the one that found you. And he's the one that usually would go and do trading with like the big city to bring supplies in. He comes back and he's just like, hey, the city's gone. It is burned completely to ash. The only people left alive are feral, and they tried to attack me. And the only reason I'm alive is because they seem afraid of water. I mean, 2 and 2, you put that together, it's like, okay, so it's like a rabies virus. And I'm like, 1, that's cool. Like, that's so thematic. I love that. So like, he's like, okay, so obviously, there's no more trading. He can't bring supplies to this island anymore. So it's got to be self-reliant. So it's like, basically creates the idea of like a Stardew Valley-ish kind of game, except with a lot of pressure. And things just kind of start going downhill from there. So like, if you can't make the food and stuff that's needed, people will begin to starve essentially, and at some point, like these fancy looking dudes show up in boats and they start demanding food, in so many days, or they're going to start taking things by force because they're armed. And like at some point, something happens to the water and all the fish die. And people start getting sick, and you're just trying to keep everyone alive as best you can because it's like a permadeath game. So like if any of the NPCs like die, like they're dead, and it like affects everybody on this island. Like you do like a funeral, and everybody like it'll change their perceptions and personalities and stuff. So it can get pretty grim, which is apt since it's called Grimshire. So yeah, it's a very interesting take on
farming sim.
Yeah, well, it's like I like that it takes the idea of the farming sim, which is always, kind of thought of as a cozy sort of genre thing. And there's definitely some coziness to this, but there's also that like darkness to it too, and like that the grimness. There's that grimness to it. And I love that it's kind of flipped the script on cozy for a little bit there. And I think that's really interesting. Now, myself personally, I wish they would have taken it much, much farther than if it's like a rabies kind of virus thing, like I want to see that. I want to see what happens when that virus gets to the island. I don't think that happens, but I could be wrong. But that's like, I want to see it. If it's going to go a little dark, I want to see it go dark, but that's just me.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that was going to get me to play a farming sim. The only thing that got me to play Animal Crossing even was a worldwide pandemic. So short of that happening again, I don't know.
Hey, man,
if I'll be jumping into this.
You never know. We might be on track for another one. We'll see. We'll see.
In that case, then Grimshire will have my attention.
There you go. And you can make Banicula. I recommend it.
Yep. You recommend it. Okay.
It's kind of funny because like when you get found at first, like you get found with like another person who has like a lot of wounds on them. And, I'm sort of like, just for funsies, I'm kind of in character playing Banicula, and they're like asking me like, do you know how she got all those wounds? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, this rabbit with fangs and red eyes. No idea what you're talking about.
No, I think she was just born that way. That's rude for you to ask. No, it was fun though. What about yourself?
So the only other game I really played this week, aside from a lot more Peak and a little bit more Beneath Orisa, is The King is Watching.
Oh, how is that?
Okay, so I haven't played a ton of it. I've only played the demo, but after playing the demo, I am convinced that it's going to be an obsession for a little while once I do jump into it, because it is satisfying in the way that any of these games with like really cool mechanics are, it's going to like take up my time in the same way that Forest Heroes did, but probably more so because this seems a lot more expanded and it is more complex than that. It's a strategy city builder tower defense roguelike. Yeah. And all those things, even if you don't, those things like alone, I'm not necessarily like, it aren't necessarily appealing to me generally. Like I used to play a ton of strategy games, but like tower defense is like neither here nor there for me. But when you combine all of them together and make them a roguelike, now I'm in. And so far, it is even just the demo. I'm already seeing things where it's like, okay, this is a really cool idea. I see where this can expand. I see how builds can be made in the same way that Forest Heroes has it, or any roguelike where it's like, oh, cool. Like, I wonder if I focus just on like these units and try to power them up, how that run would go. So it's me thinking of like future runs just by doing a couple runs. That is what I would deem as like a really successful roguelike, is like making me think about potential runs that I haven't even done yet.
Yeah.
Is exciting to me. And this has a lot of that going for it. I don't know how many like different kings or whatever you can play as. I know there's a variety you can choose from. There seem to be different trees that you can like level the skills up with. You know, that's your the meta progression after each match, because you'll have some things you'll take away from your currency that you can then spend to get those like little upgrades that will that will be permanent to help you in future runs. And the way that it works, also an auto battler, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is you're setting up your different tiles inside of your castle walls. And those are doing different things, like giving you resources like, water, lumber, things like that. And then you're building things to create units, starting with peasants and then going from there and just trying to like continue getting a good sort of build process going. What's interesting about this is, even though like I don't know how many squares there are per castle, but I'm going to say there's at least 12 that you're starting with. And even if you fill up all 12, the only ones that are running are the ones that you as the king have eyes on. And the way that works is you've got it starts as like a 3 square sort of L shape, or I guess just a 1, 2, 3 and like a little curve shape. And you are anything that is in that little grid that you have set up is active and running at that time. You can expand your vision, is what it's known as, like your purview or your vision or something, as you like get more, I guess you progress more through the game with different upgrades and stuff, or through the run with different upgrades. But it starts as a 3. So only the little tiles that are in your 3 tile view are active. So you have to be like moving that around also it's like, okay, what am I lacking right now? I need more water. I need to set up some, coal for later because I know I'm going to need that. So let me set that up over here. I need to be like churning out more units. Like you have a unit cap and you need to start like building other of the same buildings in order to like increase that cap. And so it's like a lot of different things going on at once, but it's not so fast paced that it feels like a RTS where it's like, oh, I'm getting completely overwhelmed and I'm having to like think through all this too quickly.
Yeah.
It feels manageable to me because you're seeing at the top of the screen where the little flags at the top of the screen are like when the next wave of enemies is going to come. And so you have time to prepare for that. And it's a kind of a micro enough scale that it's like, okay, I don't feel overwhelmed by the options here, but I can see how like as it gets later in the game, like if a giant troll comes in this next run, he's going to just crush everything that I have going for me right now. So I need to prepare for what might be coming next. There are things that you're getting throughout the run that are like, what is it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's like you're talking to like a fortune teller basically, and she's giving you a preview or like a foresight into what is coming next. And that's how you're choosing like how you're sort of setting up like what the next waves of enemies are going to be and what items are going to provide or what like treasures they'll provide if you beat that wave. So it's like obviously the harder of a wave you set up for yourself, the better treasure you're going to get. So that's a risk reward there. But it's like, is my army strong enough to take on a wave like this to where it will be worth it to try to get? It's like, yeah, I would love to get all these items that this one wave is providing, but there's no way it can take on these enemies. So I need to do an easier wave right here. So there's a little bit of setup in there, but it's not like real time in that case. So you're just like, you're choosing at your leisure. It's only real time when you're on your main screen. You can also, if you're just going through something like resource gathering in between waves, you can fast forward like up to like a ×3 fast forward. And that like goes back to like normal speed when the enemy wave comes in. So it sounds like a lot, but it's like, even just in the demo I played, I don't think I did very good, but I could see myself getting super into it now that I kind of understand the mechanics behind it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I don't know. It's just really cool. It's like a really small scale thing, but I think there's like a lot of great mechanics behind it. And that's one of the most appealing things about games to me in general. So yeah, it's got my attention. I'm going to definitely be picking it up probably right after this call's over, and then playing more of it. So this might be something I do report back on in a future episode.
Well, let me tell you really quick for those listening. One, I do appreciate real quick that they obviously like Evil Dead, because in one of the screenshots on the Steam page, there's a guy holding something that looks suspiciously like the Necronomicon, and it's called the Tome of Questionable Wisdom. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to bring up is the amount of different bundles this game comes with right now. So like, I mean, obviously you can buy it by itself, but there are 3 different bundles that are all fantastic. So there's one bundle that comes with 9 Kings, which is that one that we talked about, like, I think it's been a couple months now, but 9 Kings was one that I played and I had a ton of fun with. And it goes very, very well specifically with this game. Like that's a great pairing.
Oh yeah, that one's early access still, isn't it? Because there was a reason why I hadn't picked that one up yet.
Yeah, it's still in early access. Yes.
Okay.
It is like, honestly though, like once you start playing it, you're gonna love it. Like I know Nine Kings
I'm sure
it's one you're gonna love.
It also comes like Loop Hero and Drill Core. Also, Loop Hero I have from years ago. Drill Core I just picked up. So nice. Yeah, I didn't even realize it came in those bundles. I'll pick it up for cheaper then. Great.
Yeah, there you go. So like the bundle with 9 Kings and the bundle with Drill Core, both $30.13, but the bundle with Loop Hero $15.51. Super, super cheap. So
that's
Loop Hero,
a steal,
complete
because
classic. So
yeah, and like that means Loop Hero is selling for like $3 because like I have Loop Hero and the deal is like $12.14 for me. So it's like, okay, so Loop Hero is like selling for almost pennies, and it's such a great game. Like I want to play more Loop Hero now that that's back in my mind. I forgot about that game.
Yeah, actually right now as of talking, it's Loop Hero is on sale like solo for $3.74. So yeah,
man,
that's 75%
that
off.
came out in 2021. Wow.
Yep, that's right.
Man, cool game.
Final round.
Hey, let's talk about some upcoming indie games we're excited about. I want to talk about one real quick called Sands of Hope. This is supposed to be coming out on August 4th. This is an open world exploration and adventure game in this like really cool, kind of cute desert kind of world. So you're basically like you're exploring the sandy landscapes of Sidonia. Ooh, that just made me think of the Knights of Sidonia. Like, wasn't that a Muse song, Knights of Sidonia? Yeah, that's a cool song.
I don't know.
Anyway, as you use your ancestral powers to build and attach magnetic cubes, find energy cores, and restore the land's water flow while meeting other villagers with the help of a loyal dog. It's like kind of like an isometric viewpoint, and it's like I don't know how to describe the aesthetic properly. Like it's just got like this really interesting blend of it makes me feel like a little bit of like a Zelda-ish sort of look to it, or maybe like more like Tunic in a way, like just the vibe of it, but more in a pixelated kind of thing. And I'm not talking like it's straight pixel art, but like if you look at the artwork, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, it looks really cool. Like I'm loving the world of this thing, and I can't wait to get my hands on this and try it out. Plus, you get a dog. Who doesn't want a dog?
And that's Sands of Hope.
Yeah, Sands of Hope.
All right.
Check that out.
One that I am kind of interested in, but I don't know for sure if it's going to be early access or not. So that's where I have a little bit of pause. Is one called Holy Shoot, and it is a
buddy.
What's up?
Oh, yeah. Buddy, I'm going to talk all about it on the next episode. I promise you.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, well, I can not talk about it right now.
Tell them about it. Explain it, and then I'll go into more detail
just
later.
Real briefly then. It's a roguelite action FPS in a satirical version of hell. And it just, to keep it short, like it just looks really entertaining and like a good time. And I love the way the graphics look too. It's got sort of a I don't want to say Borderlands but a little bit that
it feels very Borderlands in design.
And which I like Borderlands, but like as a roguelite, that's what the appealing part is to me. I enjoy when they take sort of different styles and blend them with roguelike or roguelite elements. Like that's where it's like, great, I don't have a ton of time to play through a whole game, but you give me a roguelite game, I will spend a ton of hours playing that same game over and over again. Yeah.
Well, guess what? I played it, and I'm going to talk about it on the next episode.
Hey, wonderful. That works out then.
Yeah. So that means if anyone listening, if you're interested in it, you have to come back. You have to now.
Ooh,
so that you can hear that discussion on Holy Shoot. Oh, I just got it. I just got it.
Wow.
Okay. Well, we had a lot of laughs, but...
Game over.
If you had a good time listening to this episode, stick around for the bumper to learn how you can help support the show and all the things we do here at Sloth Creative. You can also check the show notes for our link tree, which will take you to our social media, Discord, subreddit, merch store, and tons of other cool stuff. You can get a hat. You can get a hat with our logo on it, like I'm wearing right now. You get in touch with us. Let us know what indie games you're playing and help us to elevate these games so we can help support indie game devs. But that's game over for us. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
And we'll continue on the next episode.
Continue.
Indie Game Arcade is recorded and produced by Sloth Creative. If you're looking for more gaming content, head over to youtube.com/nerdsloth for indie game let's plays and recommendations. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth, where you can select a pledge and receive access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from everything at Sloth Creative. If you're an indie game developer and would like us to review your game or explore other opportunities, send an email to nerdslothcreative@gmail.com with the subject line Indie Game Arcade. Thanks for listening, and keep supporting indie game devs.